to get a good read on our race car. We'll make repairs overnight and tackle it again tomorrow.
You referenced him winning at Darlington. I'm anxious to watch him at Chicagoland Speedway next weekend with a tire fall off the way it will be there.
I think we're all pretty excited to get to Chicagoland. I know I am. That place was special for years. It's going to be fun to go back.
Cole Custer still third on the board. Solid lap, and this team has been improving over the summer. You know, really had a tough stretch getting out of the gate early in the season, but they switched over to Chevrolet from Ford for many, many years at Stewart-Haas Racing, trying to figure out how to utilize those Chevrolet tools and all the resources that Chevrolet provides, and it's starting to pay off. Some solid speed with Cole Custer.
Good road racer. I mean, you think about what he's done in O'Reilly competition, one on the streets of Chicago, also got it done out in Portland a couple of years ago. Talking Cole Custer, California native.
Was in the top 10 for both stage 1 and stage 2. Finished just outside the top 20, but ran further up in that San Diego race, and we've seen this 34 car run at the road courses
as well. Mentioned Cole Custer and their program getting better. The 34 and Front Row Motorsports starting to pop off some confidence or excitement. It has to kind of bleed over in the other teams in that organization. And
stage 1 and stage 2. Finished just out.
turn 2.
It's hard to, I mean, over 100 feet of just elevation already. I think the highest point has to be up here, right at the top of 3A.
Yep.
Feels like I have loose wheels.
Oh, not a good sign.
10-4, man.
Hey, Adam, I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on with SVG, but Christopher Bell just came on the radio and said, I have a 9 for him. Maybe we got some tire issues going on. Here at Sonoma today.
Where knew what to expect here today because this surface has been consistent over the last couple
Stage. Now, you're not going to give up great track position to do it, but if you're outside,
is new, the higher horsepower. And the road course racing needed improvement. It did. Dale, you and I have been vocal. NASCAR knows, right? They've done a lot of work on the aero and the power and the Goodyear tire and a lot of things, and I think it has really improved the road course racing product.
what do you have for us, Shannon?
Yeah, SVG not happy with his car. He came on the radio a few minutes ago, told his crew chief, it's worse than it was last year. I said, what does that mean? And I kind of just got shrugs, led 97 laps last year, of course, in this race. But he has been on the radio lately saying he feels like he has a loose wheel. The car is wandering all over the place and has no grip. So they're in right now fixing that baby up.
Now the question is, what type of race are we preparing for? Most people expect to pit 3 times, but there's an argument that says, you know, you do have that 4th set of tires. Maybe you put them on late, as you mentioned, like Chase Elliott tried to do last year. He got robbed of a few laps with some yellows. Was going to make a race out of it.
Talking about Front Row Motorsports and the moves that they have made recently. Got to give some love to Legacy Motor Club. We highlighted Eric Jones and their climb in the points in the last month. John Hunter Nemechek has had some speed as well. And that top 5 finish at Pocono a couple of weeks ago. You see his numbers on the road this year. Pretty impressive.
He fights, man. He's kind of stubborn would be a word that I would describe to his driving style, and doesn't get up spots easy, doesn't really stop working toward, you know, gaining spots and pushing forward. Kind of rubs some of his competitors the wrong way, puts himself in some tough spots, puts his competitors in even worse spots sometimes, but he's worked really hard to create this opportunity for himself in the Cup Series.
Got owner Jimmy Johnson on the left side of the screen. Tomorrow you can see analyst Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
He'll be on the pre and the post desk. We're going to have fun talking with Jimmy.
NASCAR Nation on TNT tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern time. Marty Smith leading the charge. Jamie Mack going to be down there with you guys. Look forward to having Jimmy with us. Just under 3 minutes to go in this Group 1 practice session.
Austin Dillon in the 3-car in the top 10 in speed. Got his only top 10 of the season at a road course, Watkins Glen, earlier this year in May. That's a bit surprising. I bet this team would be surprised by that stat.
His opening round matchup in the in-season challenge against the reigning champ Ty Gibbs, who's a really good road racer. It'll be fun to watch those two go at it here this weekend in the round of 32.
Zilic still making laps out on the racetrack, sitting 4th on the board right now. Shannon, what you got on the 88?
Yeah, you guys know speed has not been a problem for Connor Zilic. It's been luck. He has had 0 of it this season. He's had 4 DNFs in the last 5 races. Just came over the radio to talk about what this car is doing out on the track. Listen in.
I need rear grip. Like, I just have nothing to lean on. I'm literally chattering the rears at random places.
How's your front turn there? You feel like you're open on front turn?
Yeah, it feels fine. I just chatter the rears.
Yeah, earlier in this practice session, guys, he also said that his steering wheel felt like it was a little off to the right. Dale, I'm wondering, what does that feel like when you're out there in Sonoma if that steering wheel feels a little bit off?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying to not have the steering wheel centered perfectly. You know, when you're tracking straight, you want the steering wheel. There's a line on the steering wheel to give you a reference to 0. And if that's off a little bit, it can be problematic. I think once you get to driving the car, you kind of forget about it. But yeah, it's a little bit annoying just on the onset of practice to not have that correct.
Pit stops. It would be important for pit stops tomorrow because the way these front ends work, really need that wheel straight to get the tires on and off too. I'd add that. It's something I would tweak on a little.
I'm a little surprised by the lack of grip that we've seen some of these cars have, and it's been a tough year for Zilic. He's been involved in a lot of strange things that have just been out of his control for the most part. Failure of the brakes at Nashville. Michigan was maybe the hardest day on this young man's career. Spun out, crashed out the first couple laps of the race. And last week in San Diego, a big crash with Austin Hill on a restart after it looked like he had going to have a pretty solid day. He ran up front in the top 3 all day long.
Leading laps for the first time in his Cup career.
Yep.
And the bad luck is now connected to Saturdays because yesterday he was out doing his qualifying run for the O'Reilly race and had a flat tire, so he's going to have to start in the back today. He put a post out on social media, "Are you kidding me?" It just will not leave him alone. Hopefully better things ahead for this rookie driver from North Carolina who ends Group 1 practice in 4th.
Steve, a lot of the teams that are watching in Group 2, they have to think about how to lock down the back of this race car. Everybody out there is talking about rear grip, tires not coming in, tires chattering the rears. We're seeing cars sliding off the racetrack. A little bit surprised by the lack of grip in this racetrack.
Yeah, the big debate right now, is the track going to clean up and rubber up, or is this the new challenge for only the next group will figure it out?
And if you want to hit the curveball at a road course, look to Shane Van Gisbergen. He always seems to find his way. He's quickest in Group 1 from Sonoma.
RN, the Performance Racing Network.
I'm David Stiles, and each weekday, Andrew Kurland and I bring you the biggest stories from the garage on our daily show, Garage Pass.
I finally got onto a smooth road and just did one of those nodders and woke up tumbling, out through the middle of the desert. And we had literally a vehicle that would move down the race course and chase you. Well, our chase truck got into a fender bender in a small little town, and the guys got locked up in jail.
That's PRN's Garage Pass right here.
Are you looking to make NASCAR a little bit more compelling, or are you tired of watching your bankroll dry up after missing another parlay bet on your favorite Cup Series driver? Well, I've got just what the doctor ordered, a steady dose of Racer's Odds. Hi, I'm David Stiles, and along with Andrew Kurland, we try to bring you the best insider information and our sharp bets as we help you grow your bankroll by betting on NASCAR's top 3 series. Find us wherever you listen to major podcasts and on the Performance Racing Network YouTube page.
You're listening to the Performance Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Welcome back to Sonoma Raceway. Group 1 practice has concluded here for the NASCAR Cup Series. Shane Van Gisbergen was the fastest in Group 1. That doesn't mean he's going to be the fastest overall because Group number 2 is going to go out for their practice session as well. The Group 1 cars are under the 10-minute clock. NASCAR gives them 10 minutes to make adjustments, hands off the car after that before they get ready to go qualifying. That qualifying session still about 30 minutes away. When we get into that, each Group 1 and 2 will have a 20-minute session to try and go out and make the fastest lap. Both sessions then become combined, and the fastest overall wins the pole for the Toyota Save Mart 350, Nick.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. Certainly doesn't matter in qualifying what group you're in, whoever ends up with the fastest lap. And as you pointed out, you can turn as many as your heart desires during that qualifying session. We'll end up with the pole for Sunday's running of the Toyota Save Mart 350 here at Sonoma Raceway. Here are the drivers we will see in Group number 2. Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Carson Hocevar, Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell, who's a very good road racer, Riley Herbst, Ty Gibbs, Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Zane Smith, A.J. Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Larson. The time they'll be shooting for, at least here in practice. It doesn't pay anything to win practice, but Shane Van Gisbergen's fast lap was 1:16.035. In fact, Brad, you look at Group 1 speeds, it was really Van Gisbergen and William Byron who were very close. They were within a tenth of a second, and then you had nearly a half a second of a fall off before you got to Cole Custer, who was impressive in third, Connor Zilisch fourth, John Hunter Nemechek fifth. William Byron also the fastest driver in the 10-lap and 15-lap average. Shane Van Gisbergen didn't run more than about 5 or 6 laps at a time, so certainly a lot of learning to be done here as Group 2 is poised to go on the racetrack.
Going to be very exciting to see what happens. We see a few AMR safety trucks just checking out the course, making sure everything is clean and ready.
The QR code or go to NASCAR.com/bracket challenge. Sign up in leagues and be sure to join the Bleacher Report Racing League. Deadline is Sunday prior to the green flag. Make sure you leave the graphic up because the guys in the booth are going right to the QR code. Hey, if you submit electronically, we know all the answers that you've given, fellas.
Well, I filled one out on paper, but I'm going to have to go to this link here and fill one out officially. And I'm excited about it. There's the brackets. We'll go through the first round this weekend and move forward week after week to finally crown a champion. This is the top left here. I have No, my winner doesn't come out of this group.
He's not going to. Nope. Try again. Find another group.
I got to tell you, my favorite opening round matchup right there, 12-21, Briscoe-Allmendinger. I like that this weekend.
I think that's a heavyweight group for sure.
After Bubba Wallace's last week, now Bubba Wallace is a tough one.
I think on the other right side, I have this first as the most key matchup because I believe a lot of people have Hamlin going deep. But Ty Dillon proved here last year when he moved that 48 out of the way that he's willing to do what it takes. Maybe he will upset again and eliminate Hamlin.
Look at Larson. I mean, you think about the role that they've been on. We talked about that a little earlier. And he could be matched up with his teammate, William Byron, in round 2.
Byron Larson at Chicagoland. That would be a fun one.
Here's Danielle.
Yeah, here with William Byron, made a long run, 15 laps in that practice session. Adam, P2 on the board. You were fastest in 10-lap average. With the 750 horsepower, William, how different of a feel was it today over last year?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really think about it much besides just little bits here and there. Little corners are a bit different, but the track was just really dusty there. It seemed like the top of the hill was really dusty, and our car felt good. So these guys have been working very hard to kind of get the road course program better, and I think this is a good step so far, and just try to keep the momentum going. We've had the speed the last few weeks, so just kind of keep it going.
13th in points as we get closer to the chase. William, what is your goal here with the road courses and going to a track we haven't been to a while at Chicagoland? Where is your head mentally right now on a push towards the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, this system just, if we're going to run and start winning or running the top 3 or 4, it can change really quick. So not super concerned where we are, just gotta perform the way we know how to, and the way we have the last 4 or 5 years. So just kind of get the rhythm of this car going, and I like this place, so hopefully we can parlay that into a good result.
A great run, Shannon, so far for driver of the number 24.
Yeah, talk about a great run in practice. Shane Van Gisbergen, a 1.5 seconds faster than the rest of the field. How much does that tell the story of how this car is handling out there?
I don't think that's real. I think it was only a 10th, but it's okay. Yeah, same as last year. Need to get it better, but not a bad place to start.
I heard you say that it's the same as last year, worse than last year. I think that's what you said. What does that mean?
Means I need to drive better, and yeah, we need to do some work to make it better too.
I know you were so disappointed 1 week ago. How much have you carried maybe some of those emotions into the race car today?
Nothing today, but start of the week I was pretty pissed off, but good to go this weekend.
Thank you, Shane.
Cheers.
Marty?
Shannon, as he's done since he broke his wrist a few weeks ago, Christopher Bell going to hang in the race car between practice and qualifying coming up here in a bit. So we had that report about something wrong with the right rear tire. Actually, Steve, when they got in, it actually turned out the left front was loose when they started practice for this 20 machine. So a lot of relieved crew chiefs up and down pit road thinking, hey, there might be some tire issues going on. Actually, it wound up being a loose left front wheel for the 20 bunch.
Yeah, it's shocking in practice. You wouldn't expect it to be loose. Maybe a little concerning, but I'm sure this team will look into what they got going on.
I love what he's doing right here. This is something that wasn't available to me when we were racing back in the day, but all these drivers have S&T, and he's sitting here rewinding and moving forward, watching his line, probably comparable to the ghost car on this one might be SVG, right? So he's kind of seeing, okay, I'm beating him into this corner and gaining and losing here. I can change this line. Look at his line, a little bit different there. So he's taking all of this in, and he's going to go back out there and try to adapt and change and make the adjustments.
What I love about this, no translation from an engineer to the driver. He's going to see it real time and understand what he wants to change.
Christopher Bell is a student of the game.
So I don't know. I think the race car is good. So thanks to Exalta, Chevrolet, everybody worked pretty hard on this place because we kind of had a good notebook. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just got to keep improving.
With notebooks and preparing for these events, and then you actually get out here for practice, how different is it this time around?
Yeah, the 750 horsepower makes it slightly different, but not a whole lot, to be honest. I mean, just kind of trying to get better at what we did last year and just improve those small areas. So far, so good.
Any part of the racetrack that seems treacherous for you so far?
Yeah, I don't really want to say. I don't know. It's kind of a secret until they find out. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some treacherous, dirty spots of the track for sure.
All right, thanks for that insight, and I don't blame you for not telling me your secrets, William Byron.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Wendy Venturini. A lot going on down there on pit road. We just heard that Noah Gragson will not go out to qualify. Some brake issues on his number 4 Front Row Motorsports Ford. And last week, Noah Gragson, well, not just last weekend, but all last week, Noah Gragson, a lot in social media with the face-to-face confrontation he had with Kevin Magnussen, who was driving the Trackhouse Racing 4th entry, the Project 91 car. And say what you want about that. It was pretty exciting and a great moment for race fans and social media.
Yeah, and shout out to the guys from Front Stretch for getting that video. Otherwise, I'm not sure we would have ever known, because it's not like Noah Gragson and Kevin Magnussen were battling for the race win and didn't see eye to eye. They were towards the rear of the field, and they turned it into a bit of a demolition derby. But, yeah, I mean, Kevin Magnussen's a guy. He's a little rough around the edges. He's upset some guys, you know, racing over in Formula One. Noah Gregson's a guy who isn't going to take any flack from anyone, and it did create quite the viral moment, as those two will have to agree to disagree. The only bummer, Brad, is that Kevin Magnussen is not scheduled to race anymore in NASCAR, which is a bummer, because I would have loved to have seen what Chapter 2 of this newfound rivalry. It looked like a Mad Lib, to be honest with you. Kevin Magnussen and Noah Gragson not seeing eye to eye. I would have never believed that a year ago. But, hey, that's NASCAR. That's the beauty of this sport.
Yeah, Noah Gragson said a lot of words. Kevin Magnussen pretty much said 2, as he was telling him repeatedly to
yeah, I don't think you can
buzz
say
off.
those. I don't think you can say those on the radio. But, yeah, they certainly did not see eye to eye, and they won't be sharing a bottle of wine anytime soon.
They will not. Group number 2 cars are heading out onto the racetrack right now. They are slowly climbing the hill as they're warming their tires up. We see Bubba Wallace out there. We see a handful of other folks. Before we get to some more lap-to-lap, let's go back down to Wendy Venturini.
I'm here with Noah Gragson, who is not going to be qualifying. Tell us what happened in practice, Noah.
I only got a couple laps, but when we came in after the first 2 laps, there was a leak out of the brake reservoir, so we're just trying to diagnose it. Unfortunately, NASCAR said we're not going to be able to qualify, but we got our work cut out for us here tomorrow. This is my favorite road course, so I always like coming up here to wine country. The fans are incredible up here. Lacked a lot of track time.
Morning. A little chillier than I expected in the morning.
Yeah. You had like a flannel on, Dale. You look like a local this morning, actually. You know what I mean? You really fit in with your wardrobe.
I'm starting to figure it out, you know. It's been a week. Like, okay.
It has been a week.
Jackets in the morning and
yeah, for those that are listening, want to know what happened. We started this trip 9 days ago together in San Diego. We have driven our way to Sonoma. You want to talk about twists and turns of Sonoma Raceway? We've had some twists and turns.
There have been some elevation changes in the last week.
It is beautiful, though, and to see the state the way we have. It's been a great week and a half here.
Denny Hamlin enjoying his trip west so far. Productive in San Diego when you talk about the championship standings as he tries to run down Tyler Reddick.
yeah, even to his surprise, he was able to gain a little bit last week in San Diego with Tyler's misfortunes late in the race.
Already seeing some dust, throwing it around in turn 10. Well, this graphic really tells the story. And, when we were talking about all this chasing for the regular season championship back at Watkins Glen, it's like, Reddick's going to win. Who's going to get second? Hamlin said, nope, I'm coming after you. He's been so good with those 3 consecutive victories.
I thought there was going to be a stock market dip after Pocono, but as Dale pointed out, that flat tire late for Reddick. And staying on track. Give Hamlin credit. He knew his strength was going to be to run all the laps, stay out of the barriers, kept the 11 on track, and then it paid off in the closing laps.
Reddick's had some misfortune. I mean, he got caught up in the crash at Michigan on the restart. You talk about the tire last week. Other than that, in that span where Hamlin's made up all the ground, Reddick's been 6th or better every week. It's just been Hamlin has been incredible at taking advantage of opportunities as we check in on the 45.
And Dale, when we heard from William Byron, you and I were talking about rear tires and grip, but he seemed to be a little bit more vocal about the track being dirty. Like, he really put it at the condition of the track. So we will see as these drivers finish their laps how they kind of stack in on the left-hand side for overall pace.
Switches this time out of 11.
Yes, please.
Freeze, switching this.
Bubba Wallace up to 5th. All these cars are starting to complete their first laps on the racetrack.
Reddick coming to the alternate start-finish line right here. See what this lap is.
19th.
Ooh. Oh, no. Yeah, a little surprising. It was Gibbs that jumped up there. I saw the movement, too. That was the car behind him.
Yeah.
Briscoe to second. Toyota's showing some muscle here early in Group 2. There's a 71 Michael McDowell.
Yeah, Briscoe's so good a year ago as well. He was right in the mix.
Well, you know, seeing that car out front here or running up front with SVG a year ago, it just reminded me of how strong they were with Martin Truex Jr. here. I mean, we know how good he was, and James Small leading the charge.
Michael's sitting outside the road courses this year, and it's important for him to capitalize this weekend and try to save the season for this 71 team. His teammates are doing really well. Both Suarez and Hocevar are in the top 16 in points, aiming for the chase. He doesn't want to be left out.
There's Briscoe. He has really worked on his road racing craft, and as we talked about, really good here a season ago. Second right now on the board in practice, Marty.
Yeah, Adam, I chatted with Chase before he hopped in the car, and he said we were in our own league last year. Problem was SVG was in a completely different league from us, so if we can finish top 5, that would be fantastic. Junior, he also said something very interesting. When we've had speed this year, we can't finish races, and when we don't have speed, we can finish races. You ever been through a stretch like that in your career where it just seems like the days you have speed, you can get a good finish, something happens to keep that from happening at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, those are the ones you're going to remember more often, are the ones where you had the great car and it just didn't work out. But he and a lot of other drivers as well are showing us his second group. The racetrack's in a little bit better shape. You obviously see Blaney at the top of the board, Larson, Briscoe, Allmendinger. Track continuing to improve today as they clean the track off. Byron said it was a little dusty. They're also putting a little bit of rubber down. A couple different series on this racetrack, different tires on this racetrack all day yesterday.
Saw the Blaney numbers. I mean, been really, really good on the road this year. Won a stage last week at San Diego after qualifying up inside the top 5.
There's Larson chasing down the 22 of Logano through the S's on the backside of the racetrack.
Coming up the hill, this is the left-hander turn 1, up to turn 2. Oh, man.
Hello.
So caught the end of that curve.
Yeah. He's a little bit tight on the left side, and I don't know if there's possibly a little bit of a hole in the ground before the curb or whatever, but the car is very low to the ground as it is, and just have to be careful.
Same spot right here. There's
right
the
there
spot.
is where he caught it.
Over it fine that time. So to your point, Dale, it must just be a big slide right there. It must just be a little bit of a dip where he got far enough to the left where he caught there's some rub blocks underneath it, the chassis blocks, and they are connected directly to the chassis. When you hit them, it is rough.
I think it was 3A. You were doing your digital piece with SVG this week, and he caught a little curve up there, and you referenced it. He's like, no, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to catch it there.
He kind of looked at me like, I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, right. Sometimes the curves are friendly, sometimes they are not.
Yeah.
A.J. Allmendinger, big weekend for him. A.J. Allmendinger, big weekend for him. Let's go to Shannon.
Yeah, Adam, I had a chance to talk to Tide Communication, and he's really fast. CEO Chris Rice went even further. He said, because we don't get a lot of sim time, we rely on AJ. He gives us the base. When we come to some of these tracks, we can race off of our notes. We can work on us. We don't have to play catch up. We can really show what we can do.
It's just really cool that he's coming here to his home racetrack and making his 500th career start in a Cup car.
Yeah, we make a lot about what Denny Hamlin's doing at 45 years old. I will tell you, I forget that AJ's 44. Like in person, he's the guy that doesn't age. He looks the same every single year. You have no glimpse of it behind the wheel of a race car. Fitness not in question. Everything he gets in, he's fast. He's done so much of these road courses in all types of series over the course of his career.
You saw the points graphic there. He's been doing it on road courses all season long. One of a couple of drivers to finish top 10 in all three so far. How about this guy? Bubba Wallace, incredible last week.
Yeah, just, 2311 showed up with very fast race cars, and Bubba took advantage of that opportunity. I mean, he surprised himself, I think, with the performance that he had. Had a little bit of an issue early in the race. I mean, he drove up through the field when the race began, but they had to come to pit road and had a little bit of an issue. The wheel would not get tight in there under that pit stops, and it would come off the race car. And he would be penalized a couple of laps because of this, Steve, but due to his patience and the speed in the race car, they were able to make all that ground back up and put himself into the top three. Marty.
Yeah, Dale, I think you could argue maybe one of the best drives of Bubba Wallace's career last week. You mentioned going 2 laps down, coming back and finishing second at San Diego, repeating that speed here at Sonoma today. But an interesting thing is you kind of diagnose the laps here, Steve. We're seeing the fast lap for all these drivers, like Bubba Wallace, come pretty deep into their run. Lap 3 to lap 6, kind of where they see the quickest lap coming today here at Sonoma. Last week at San Diego, it was 1 lap and you were done. So because of that difference, how will that affect qualifying later today, Steve?
Well, it's interesting. I spoke to a lot of drivers, group qualifying, a lot of crew chiefs, and I think everyone's still going to kind of sit and wait. And for that reason, I still think it's going to be your first run, but I do believe there is tire life to make a second run if as a driver you make a mistake or maybe you hit traffic. A lot of things can happen. The one thing I'm noticing is that when I look at the top 19 in practice, only a couple of them came from Group 1. So the track is just continuing to get better. That tells me if you're in the second group of qualifying and even the last 5 minutes, it's going to be a lot of waiting for an absolute land rush of cars on track in the last 5 minutes of qualifying.
We saw that yesterday in O'Reilly. Cars are going back out and qualifying and running faster the second time on the racetrack. So maybe you miss a lap or make a mistake. You've got that opportunity, Steve, to retool and go back out and try to improve your position.
Especially if you were in the first group of practice. You go out, I bet the track has changed dramatically. I think you're going to probably naturally underdrive the first time. And I would prefer that. Go out and just put a lap up, decent, and then try to go harder. Because if you try to go too much the first time you spin out or flat spot a tire, that kind of takes away the second run.
Trimble on board, riding with Chris Buescher, noted road racer, especially when you think about the next gen era of NASCAR.
Yeah, you could set your watch by this guy at the road courses. I mean, he is here all the time, just inside the top 10 every time you look, rarely gets himself in trouble. You watch the elevation as it drops coming down the hill.
Got his contract renewed with RFK. Going to be back driving the 17. A lot of conversations around the garage about where he would be 2027 and beyond, but staying with that 17 team.
Yeah, happy for him and RFK. I think it's a great match, and I think this is a driver you can continue to improve an organization around. Like, where doesn't he have a chance? I mean, right, he's renowned on the road courses, super speedways, he comes to mind. Kind of pretty well-rounded driver.
Been a couple of years since he went to Victory Lane, but his last win was on a road course. Got it done 2024 at Watkins Glen. Halfway through Group 2 practice in Sonoma, California. Blaney, Larson, Reddick, Wallace, Van Gisbergen, your top 5.
as well. Your top 5 here in practice at Sonoma Raceway: Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, and Shane Van Gisbergen.
Here's Bubba Wallace on the importance of sponsorships.
This sport was built on relationships and partnerships and sponsorships, and none of this is possible without our sponsors and being able to represent Fortune 500 companies and just all around great people. I've had a fair share of sponsors be a part of my career, and forever in debt, forever grateful for the opportunities to represent those brands.
NASCAR Network Radio drives business.
Green flag, the Coca-Cola 600's underway.
This is a crown jewel race. It's a 600-mile salute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
We do what we love because of the sacrifices that were made by our military heroes.
If you win this one, you'll carry it with you forever.
It's NASCAR's toughest test of man and machine.
It's the Coca-Cola 600 on Memorial Day weekend.
Ten minutes of practice left for group number 2. 10 minutes of practice left for the NASCAR Cup Series before we qualify for the Toyota Save Mart 350. From Sonoma Raceway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice of PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk.
We love to make lists. We love to rank things. We love to do all of that. But I think all I can say definitively is he is the best right now.
Listen, Kyle Larson's a threat when he walks in anywhere. If we're going to race from here across the street to the mall, Kyle Larson's a threat. Okay, so he's going to be a threat for the championship.
There are too many good tracks for Kyle Larson in that final 10 to take him out of that conversation.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Hey, it's Charlie and Debbie, along with NASCAR legend Kyle Petty, inviting you to join us for Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown.
Each week, we'll put it in reverse and take a trip down memory lane, looking back at that week's top 20 country songs from years past.
We'll dive into what made those songs and artists move the needle, what pop culture trends made those years unique.
And you'll get to hear me tell stories only I can tell.
So don't miss Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown right here each week.
You're listening to the Performance Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Welcome back to Sonoma Raceway. Practice wrapping up for the NASCAR Cup Series. We've got about 7 minutes left for group number 2. Ryan Blaney, the fastest overall. In fact, the top 4 from group number 2 with Blaney, Larson, Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. Shane Van Gisbergen from group number 1 is fifth quick now. Also from group number 1, Nick, the only other car in the top 10, and that's William Byron.
Yeah, how about the fact that 16 of the top 18 are drivers that are in group number 2. The only one that isn't is Riley Herbst, who's struggling for speed right now in 32nd. But, yeah, naturally, this second group always has your heavy hitters, your drivers that
up inside the top 10 in points, 14th in practice, and coming to a track that means so much to him. Got it done here 2022.
Yeah, he did. Just incredible drive all day long. Had the speed in that car. Didn't really get challenged too much from anybody else, maybe Chris Buescher, but trying to find that feel again today. You know, when you win a race at a racetrack, you always go back to that same racetrack, hoping to find exactly what you had in that winning car, and learning now about the ability and the performance of this Trackhouse Chevrolet up over the hill down into turn 4. Important braking zone. You want to get through this braking zone really well to set up a passing opportunity in the following corner, turn 7. A little rough out of there coming out of turn 4 into the braking zone of turn 7 here.
It always fascinates me the different ways the drivers position themselves in the cockpit. Like I look at Daniel, it's almost like he's driving a flat cart. Like his arms are extended a little bit, like you would see a road racing go-kart feel. Other drivers have the steering wheel closer or even maybe a little higher.
Go from Daniel Suarez, talked about his positioning in the points, to the 22 of Joey Logano. Some work to do the rest of the summer if he's going to make it into the chase.
Yeah, they're starting to see some of the speed maybe that they're looking for. Sitting 12th right now on the board.
Biggest thing to try, take some arc away into 7 and try to carry more speed to the turn 7 curb.
Yeah, just trying to get him to get into 7 a little deeper there.
I love this shot. Just puts the whole pace in perspective from up high here.
The big loop down at turn 11, the run back to the start-finish line in front of the grandstand, and then climbing the hill from 1 to 2.
You can kind of see right there entering turn 1 how dirty the track is. Offline and catching up with Ross Chastain in the number 1.
This team's been performing lately. Back-to-back top 10, Shannon.
That's right. And when you have a teammate like Shane Van Gisbergen, what do? Well, you come over and you talk to him before you jump in the car for practice. And that's exactly what Ross Chastain did. You know, they ask him a lot, Ross, how he's gotten better having a teammate like SVG. And he said, I'm the type of guy that just jumps in the car, I hit the gas, and I try to figure it out when I'm out there. While Shane, he's a lot more vocal. He knows exactly what he wants. He asks for it. He said that's really helped him when he's out on the racetrack, figuring out what he needs. He says as far as that right foot braking, he worked on it, but not ready to make a change just yet.
Got that 5-lap average in. Allmendinger the best there. Chastain second of that group when you start thinking about a little bit more of a longer run here at Sonoma.
Talk about the elevation here at Sonoma. Well, the downhills really compress the car, but we don't talk as much about the uphills and the peaks. And from 1 to 2 is really one of those spots. And right here where the 12 is going through right now, it is a right-hander up the hill, and the whole car unloads. And look at this left front starts to skip and hop, and a big correction. The left rear is hopping and skipping as well. That's an area on restarts that will be contested, because if you can get to the left side, then you're kind of in position for the next corner. And those are the things as a crew chief that makes this place very difficult, is I have to put enough spring in the car to keep it off the ground in the compressions. But then when the car unloads, it still has enough weight on the tires where you can still drive it. Right there, kind of cresting the hill.
Man, just in a broad slide. There's some fast corners coming up over the hill there, dude, through turn 9 and through this turn here, turn 10.
That's what makes qualifying fun, though, that all start-finish line over there, because you're just screaming down through there, sliding sideways, trying to finish the lap. Chase Elliott in the 9. Really good road racer. 7 wins, but has not done it in the next-gen car. But we talked earlier about the game they played here last year and the run that they got on, and maybe if we stay green, they would have had a chance with some tires to upset the apple cart, come back and get Shane Van Gisbergen. What about it, Danielle?
Chase Elliott is back on track now, Adam. He wanted to be tightened up, told his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, I wish my left side tires were as good as my right. Speaking of his crew chief, I talked to Alan this morning. He reminded me that he has 0 wins at this racetrack in 21 years as a Cup crew chief. He said, I want this one more than any other track I've never won at. I said, does Chase know that? He said, oh yeah, he knows. I want that wine goblet trophy. This track is one that I love on the circuit. Been coming here a long time. Guys, it's hard to believe with this career that he's had amassed, Alan, a Cup-level championship-winning crew chief, that he's yet to win in wine country.
Well, Chase has got top 10s in the last 5 races here at Sonoma, and it's going to be interesting to see. I guess, you know, strategy always provides you opportunity. I was talking to Shane Van Gisbergen about this. He says you're always vulnerable due to the stages and strategy and when cautions might come out. And Alan called some pretty incredible races, and he's gained a lot of confidence this year and made some really, really great calls that have put him in victory lane, Steve. And you got to feel like that he can carry that momentum and that confidence into this race and maybe pull a few strings and make some things happen.
Yeah, we see Priest here on track. That's what I was going to mention, Dale. I think those 2 early wins for this 9 team has taken the pressure off. Normally they come in here looking for their first win. They always win races, but it seems to be the second half of the year. Getting those 2 early wins, I think, has taken the pressure off. 60 of Priest, another driver. We're going to continue to talk about the chase standings, right? He's the guy just barely in. 5 above SVG.
So they got a stage win last week, and when you start talking about strategy, the way you call these races, it's the land of opportunity. It really depends on where you are, what game you're trying to play, as to how you go through your strategy.
Mr. Excitement here, the Hurricane, Carson Hocevar. Great qualifying, front row. Had a little contact with Heim in the chicane in the later laps. We got to revisit their entire racing portfolio together on social media over the last 5 days.
Social media for NASCAR this week has been one for the ages, man. It's been hard to keep up with all the stories and all the conversations and back and forth.
Oh, we're going to see contact tomorrow, and there's going to be an interview, and they're going to reference San Diego, and none of us will have any idea what they're talking. So many people hit each other last week at the street race. I mean, you need a whiteboard to keep up with the disputes.
I will say, though, Hocevar was on the wrong side of it here last year because they had a solid top 10 going. And I think it was top of the hill, turn 2, where he went for a ride and didn't get the finish he probably deserved. Did win a pole here in Truck Series competition. Let's go back to last week. Got to celebrate everything that the race was. Naval-based Coronado. Huge win for Corey Heim in his 13th career start.
Yeah, Corey just popped him right there in the middle of the chicane. And it doesn't take much to send these next-gen cars around for a spin. And Hocevar said, hey, man, I've had that coming. I'm all right with it. You know, I knew that was coming at some point. Oh. The 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. It's like coming out of turn 2 there, maybe up the hill. We've seen so many cars
it feels
sideways.
Like so bad right there.
Oh, man, I agree. Every car that I've watched go through turn 1 and 2 today hasn't looked happy. Doesn't look comfortable. That's where we saw the 43 of Eric Jones get a little out of shape earlier today, and he's sliding the back of the car into the corner, and the back just kind of comes around. But every car that I've watched come through that part of the racetrack looks very, very uncomfortable. The back moving around, a lot of lack of grip. So I think as we've seen some of the track improve, Steve, some of the grip in the track improve in some areas, that turn 2 is going to be a challenging spot tomorrow.
Well, turn 1, the left-hander, there's a little bit of rubber kind of getting pushed in because there's that squish of the car going up the hill. But then about halfway up the hill, it seems like that tracking of rubber goes away. Like they're just not. Let's see, right here it gets really light. And I even mean the color of the asphalt, right? There aren't even any tire tracks, like it's no man's land. It looks like a parking lot.
That's where, to me, lane selection is big on restarts tomorrow. You want, drivers right, drivers left, because you want the inside at turn 1, inside at turn 2, and how do you manage the top of the hill? Always something fun to talk about here. What's going on, Shannon?
Yeah, finally caught up with A.J. Allmendinger. The entire practice, he has not been happy with his car. It's actually been very different on both ends. The front and the rear not on the same page. Said he can't lean on it. It's loose, terrible in 2, can't pull any speed. But hey, the front end's good. So, hey, glass half full, right?
All right. Get it all put back together. Go out, qualify up front, and put yourself in position for another top 10 on the road. The best in stock car racing are in
Network.
I'm PRN's Doug Turnbull, co-host of the 5 to Go podcast, where I dive deep on 5 racing topics each week with championship mechanic Dan Elliott.
We try to predict each week based on the stats that we get, but we also see that each week brings something different.
And roving racing journo Devin Kupka.
Felt like going into the race, no matter what happened, that man, Tyler Reddick's going to be the driver to beat.
Expert analysis unfiltered. The 5 to Go podcast on GoPRN.com, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Welcome to PRN's At the Track. I'm Lenny Baticki. We are PRN's half-hour weekly show dedicated to the short track, dirt track, legends, and kart racing across the Southeast. We provide our audience with the news and insightful conversations with the newsmakers from grassroots racing. How did that help you this time to take this victory from a grassroots perspective?
I definitely felt like Martinsville was a lot harder than the other one.
That's PRNs at the track.
You're listening to the Performance Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Welcome back to Wine Country, Sonoma Raceway, the site, as we are getting set for qualifying for Sunday's running of the Toyota Save Mart 350 here on the Performance Racing Network. Past pole sitters include Shane Van Gisbergen, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, of course, Kyle Larson. As you pointed out, Brad strung together an impressive string of poles here at Sonoma Raceway. So going to be a lot of fun to see how this thing shakes out as the racetrack's been cleaned up a little bit. And most importantly, all of these teams now have a little bit of data that they can build off of for qualifying. Let's hear from a few more drivers. Let's go downstairs to Wendy Venturini.
AJ Allmendinger is just debriefing with his team down here. 9th fastest in the practice. A big weekend for AJ, being his 500th start. AJ, what area of the racetrack do you feel like you want to improve? We saw you get off course right at the tail end there.
Yeah, I made the old Echo Park automotive car a little dirty, so sorry about that. Maybe when we get them to come clean it up here. But, I mean, it's good and bad. I feel like we got speed in the race car, but it's not very comfortable right now. Turn 2, as I showed right there, that's probably the biggest problem area, but it's just kind of the way the car's kind of laying over. So got a little bit of work to do, I think. Like I said, good thing is at least we're not doing that and slow. So we got speed. We got to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Is there one particular area of the racetrack or a lot of the turns for you?
2 is really bad. You know, turn 4 is kind of the same thing, but 2 is just you come up over the rise and there's not a lot of grip there anyway. So, yeah, I'll go study it a little bit, try to figure out what we do, see if we can improve it for qualifying, and yeah, see if we can just at least put a good lap in.
All right, thanks for your time, AJ. AJ's running that Echo Park green paint scheme, which when asked in the media center if that was bad luck for green being known in the motorsports garage area, and he said no, it's the same color as money, so he likes the green car.
I love it. That's right. We love Echo Park. We reported earlier that Noah Gragson would not qualify due to brake issues. Apparently, they were able to fix those. They were approved changes by NASCAR, and Noah Gragson will come out and qualify here at Sonoma.
To go racing this weekend, here's Danielle.
Well, Adam, 2-time Sonoma winner Kyle Larson was P2 on the board for that practice session. He was also fastest in 10-lap average. He just told Jeff Gordon, it feels like ice out there. Cliff Daniels wanted to give you something drivable, Kyle. How did you feel throughout the course of that entire run?
Well, the first few laps, I mean, you're trying to go what you guess that the grip limit might be, and it was really easy to slip through everything. So I would say once I actually dialed back a little bit, I could be somewhat okay for a little while. But yeah, just really easy to kind of slip through the rears, up the hill through 1, then back through 2. If you ask a little bit too much out of it through the 3 and all that section, it's slick. And then the rest of the track, I feel okay. The S's is close to kind of the limit, but yeah, it's got speed, I guess. I didn't feel like the most comfortable, but yeah, if it's got speed, it's got speed. So try to just qualify well here and get a good starting spot. It's last year it didn't go well for us, so looking to have a better weekend, and we're off to a good start so far.
Kyle Larson right now happy with the car, Marty.
Ryan Blaney fastest in that practice session. Danielle number 1 on the charts, and the short run speed has shown up once again, just like he had at San Diego last week. How was the long run speed in the 12 car?
Yeah, I'd say that's anywhere we got to work on is kind of getting it to live a little bit more. Yeah, I was happy with the fire off pace. Just got to keep tires on a little bit longer. So I think that's work on the car a little bit. I can work on stuff, try to help them live. But it's fun out there, slick track. You know, everything's digressing, right? It's just how do you manage it. But no, Dutch Boy, Menards, Ford Mustangs got good speed. Hopefully we can put a good lap together in qualifying, and then we'll figure out the race tomorrow and changes we need and how I can change it up a little bit. But overall, good start to the day.
Shannon, he locked down a top 3 spot at San Diego last week. Trying to do it again here at Sonoma today.
All right, Marty, AJ Allmendinger, if you were looking for that edge, you found it. How much were you on the edge the entire practice?
Yeah, she's got a little edge to her right now. But the Echo Park Automotive car is fast. It's dirty now, so we might have to drop it off at a dealership really quick and get it cleaned back up before qualifying. But no, overall, good thing is we got speed in it. Definitely some areas where she's a little bit hard to drive, so we got to kind of make it a little bit more comfortable. But like I said, at least in certain sections, for as bad as it felt, I was happy to see what lap times we were running. So I'll go do some studying and see if we can put a flyer in for qualifying.
Good luck in qualifying. Congratulations on 500. Adam?
I just love those sunglasses. What a way to celebrate 500. Very California for the driver from right here in Northern California. Group 1 qualifying next for the Toyota Save Mark.
For the race tomorrow, but hopefully we can lay down a decent lap right now and get a good starting spot for tomorrow.
Is there any particular turn or area of the racetrack that you feel the best at?
The best? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to kind of figure that out. I feel pretty good from turns 2 to 3, 3A. That's kind of where I feel like I'm strong. Turn 7 in the back, I feel like I'm pretty good. Some of the other areas we probably need to improve in, but as of right now, I feel like that's kind of our strong suits, and we'll try to work on the other areas.
All right, thanks for your time. That's Ryan Blaney, who continues to debrief with his team. It's interesting to talk to these drivers about where they feel confident and not so good, because moments ago we spoke to AJ Allmendinger, who said turn 2 was the worst for him.
All right, thank you very much, Wendy Venturini. Here's how qualifying works on road courses. This is the final road race for the NASCAR Cup Series in 2026. Group 1 gets a 20-minute session. Group 2 gets a 20-minute session as well. During that 20 minutes, the cars can go out onto the track at any time and go out there and make their fastest lap. They can go out and make as many laps as they want to during that 20-minute session. The fastest one, obviously, will be the lap of record. That happens with Group 1. Same thing for Group number 2. At the end of it, they take the combined speeds from both groups, and that sets the lineup. Bigger question, Nick Yeoman. Shane Van Gisbergen was 5th fastest overall, fastest in Group number 1. Could he be the driver winning the pole? Could the pole come from Group 1, or is Group number 2 going to be the faster?
And if you joined us late, Wendy Venturini talked to Shane Van Gisbergen, who's putting his helmet on right now, about to climb in the cockpit of that Red Bull Chevrolet, and he wasn't necessarily happy with his race car, but I don't think anybody is. I think that long pause we heard from Ryan Blaney when Wendy asked about what his favorite part or where the car feels the best on the racetrack kind of says it all. There's a lot of drivers struggling for grip. Before we fire the engines and start qualifying, let's go out and visit with our turn announcers. Doug Turnbull, you said there's some final preparations being done on the racetrack here before we go qualifying.
Well, as we all covered here, Nick, you're absolutely right. At the beginning of that Group A practice session, there were several drivers that got off course there as they were trying to figure out the grip levels in the early turns. We saw AJ Allmendinger at the very end of the Group B session make an excursion there off of turn 2 or turn 3. And I've seen the brush trucks go through turn 4A, through turn 7, where the marbles kind of build up when people jump on the tires there into the track, and make sure it's all brushed off so everybody kind of has equal conditions as much as possible here for this qualifying.
And Michael Young, we had an incident in turn number 10 early on practice involving Eric Jones. Seems like that part of the racetrack and the run down to the hairpin a little bit cleaner once we got everything cleaned up.
Yeah, I think once that rubber got laid down, everything's a lot better. We did have the blowers out, making sure that that little bit of runoff at the exit of turn number 10 where the drivers want to drop those left sides off into that dirt and then bring it back onto the race course. All of that has been blown off the racing surface as the drivers set up for that final hairpin. But the final left-hander of turn number 12, everything clean, green. Looking forward to qualifying.
And the way they qualify here.
50. And it will be entertaining here. 20 minutes on the clock. Group 1 rolling out now.
I think we're going to quickly see what the teams feel, whether this is a one-shot deal or you have a 2 shots at it. I think cars rolling at all tells me that these teams feel that they can get a couple laps on tires.
And it's a completely different racetrack, Steve, than this first group saw earlier this morning. A lot cleaner, a lot more speed in the racetrack.
And last year it was SVG at a 74.59 was the pole, so A 1:14.5. Alt start finish line right here. This is kind of cresting the hill, coming down the S's between, I guess that's after 8, before 9.
Just over there in the S's, right?
Bottom of the S's. Top 7, bottom. Oh, yeah, right here we go. Just give me a reason to draw, I dare you. Right here.
If we can go from 4 to 7 and get away with it, then Steve and I can just say over in the S's.
Totally. If I hear a driver reference turn 8, I'll change my mind. I bet if I ask the driver, they go, I don't know turn 8.
I love when social media gets drivers to draw the layout of the track. That always entertains me.
So only one shot through turn 11, right? You take the green before you get here. So this is at speed now. Laps already started. Now remember, it's group quality. You go run 10 laps if you want. We just don't think that would be the fastest track. You set up for 1. If it doesn't work, you probably come in, cool your tires, and go run again. Remember, Jones had those issues in practice earlier.
Not amazing at San Diego, but they survived and stayed above the chase cut line. Saw best run of the year coming a few weeks ago at Michigan. The run from 4 to 7, and the right-hander to chase through the S's and back down to that alt start finish line.
Now just a few corners to complete the lap. Right up over the hill here and done.
1 more.
Jones P1 with a lap he put down. Stenhouse second behind him. There you see the 47. Opening round matchup, in-season challenge for Ricky with William Byron. They'll go toe-to-toe here tomorrow. You get the feeling Ricky advances, he could become a threat, right? I mean, you go to Chicago, a place where he can hustle it. And then in the draft a couple of weeks from now at Elko Speedway in Atlanta, where you know he'll be good.
Yeah, these laps right here for Jones and Stenhouse, not really good. Hoping to gain a ton of speed. Oh, look at the little lockup in the right front there. You're hoping to gain multiple tenths, if not a full second, over what they've laid down on the racetrack in that first lap. We saw Marty Snyder-Pool pointed out that it took the cars a while to be able to get to their optimum lap, maybe lap 3, 4, 5, or even 6 on some cars in practice. So that first lap on the track, not all that great. But there you see it. Stenhouse improves to a 117. That would have been about 28th in practice. Jones up to a 116.9.
Grab all your fans here. All fans on. 77.58. That's P3 right now. The 43 is P1 at a 76.97.
Yeah, Nemechek quicker lap 2 in his run there, but he stays third on the board.
His first lap was super, super slow, so I don't know that he pushed real hard. Might have had a bit of an issue, but not going to be happy with that 17.5.
And now it'll be a waiting game. These teams know exactly how long it takes them to leave pit road and get over to the alt start finish line. Just a reminder, you don't have to finish your lap. So if you take the green with time left on the clock as it goes down around 15 minutes, that lap will start.
Something fell off the race car right there.
Yeah, it looked like, I don't know, a piece of hose or something.
Bell was 23rd in practice. Good road racer, but driving with an injury. Fractured that left wrist in the crash that Marty talked about earlier at Michigan.
Really, I know turning both directions could be uncomfortable at all. I'm more concerned, this is like the Martinsville of road courses in my mind. There's no way you're going to run today on these restarts and not have contact tomorrow. Too wide up the hill, down the hill. It's kind of a contact situation, so you see the cast on the left wrist.
Right now trending a half a second faster than Jones. We'll try to keep adding to that as he completes this lap. He's roughly halfway through the lap here.
Lost a little up the hill. Overall, though, producing a solid lap here.
Really good through turn 3, A and B there. Down into turn 4, very important braking zone.
Now 7, what's a passing zone in the race, but for here, I think it's all to kind of get set up correctly for the S's. You don't want to get behind at the top of the S's and just continue to chase it.
Money in the bank, coming back to the alt start finish line.
Man, really good right there. A couple more tenths down the hill.
New leader in qualifying, Christopher Bell, 1:15.81.
Almost the exact lap time Blaney ran.
Noah Gregson down to 7. Fourth for Gregson. Jumps in front of Nemechek.
Looks like he's going to push to run a second lap here. Or a third.
Talk about the emergence of speed, Front Row Motorsports. Gregson trying to find a little bit of it, capitalize on an opportunity.
He's made some improvements, only 3/10 off this lap by Bell. And to give you an idea, his lap is about a second and a half off Bell, so he lost a couple tenths there. I know there's a lot of laps to still go, but he's big improvement over his first and second lap. See if he can keep the momentum.
The hustle down the hill for Noah Gregson was fourth on the board. And this lap will take him to second. 1:16.60 for the driver from Las Vegas, Nevada. Here's Austin Hill in the 33. Impressive last weekend in San Diego, winning the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. His first victory on a road course at that level.
He had great speed in his cup car as well before the mishap on the restart that created this massive crash for a lot of the leaders up front. And he wants to come here, you know, kind of redeem himself a little bit. Take a look back at Saturday's win in the O'Reilly Series.
Little bump and run there, Dale, with Taylor Gray.
Yeah, he did. He's an aggressive driver. Austin Hill is. Doesn't mind. He's up a little bit to make things happen, and you got to do that sometimes to win races. And there's a celebration in Victory Lane with Richard Childress, car owner.
First win for RCR since Kyle Busch passed away. It was a neat tribute for everyone. A lot of emotion in that Victory Lane for Austin, Richard, and everyone involved. Halfway through Group 1 qualifying. Bell has set the fastest lap with some really good ones still to come here in Group 1.
I think if Austin can keep this up, he's going to be able to take over the second spot.
Talked a lot about Data, the 51. He was just chasing the 33 around. I like that. Here's the 88 of Zilich.
Mentioned the fact he led laps for the first time in his Cup career last week at San Diego. Did that after qualifying inside the top 10.
This lap result should be a little bit quicker. Maybe it's going to take a couple laps on the tires, or maybe the 3 in front of him is hurting his effort. It's very close to the 3. That will definitely hurt a lap time.
Austin Hill went to second. Zilich now jumps P2.
And if you look at Dylan's time at 4 seconds off on that last lap, I think there was a gap, and Dylan had an issue, and the 88 closed into his rear bumper. I don't think his goal was to be that close to Dylan. I think Dylan had an issue because his lap is a minute 20, right? So they probably had a 4 or 5 second gap that got erased at some point. Dylan's going to try it again. I saw Zilich had run the 3 down. Let's see what the driver of the 88 has to say.
I want to make a second lap with the 3 backed up to me. I'll just come in and cool it down so we can do another one.
You hear him wanted to make a second lap. The 3 backed up to him. That's that 4 second gap. I was telling you, kind of went the other way. He's thinking his luck hasn't got any. He can't even get a clean lap. Only 4 cars on the racetrack.
Well, the 3, might have thought, I'm going to go out here and roll around on lap 1 and just get the tires worked in. And my second lap will be the lap I put in the effort. And the 88 went hard on lap 1 and runs him down. Not able to be able to run the second lap he wanted to run. Austin's going to slot in there at 8th spot.
How about Ty Dillon up there in 6th?
Yeah, and Austin and Ty, the 2 brothers, they got some heavyweights in the first round of the in-season challenge, right? Ty has Hamlin. Austin Dillon has Ty Gibbs.
I tell you what, though, Ty's not backing down. Pulled the upset last year, made it all the way to the final at Indy against Ty Gibbs, and I heard him talking this week. He said, hey, Denny, this isn't always his best, right? Running on the road. So I'm going to go out and try to take care of business again.
Yeah, they've thrown the red flag for some debris on the racetrack.
We thought we saw something come off the 20 car. I couldn't tell if it was a little piece of brake hose or what it was.
Do you think Zilich and them guys cool it down and go back out?
I think so, absolutely. I think they make another run at it.
Yeah.
What do we got there?
That's what I think we saw come off the 20 car.
I think so, too.
Oh, we're hearing they think it might be a rear brake light. These teams are required to have wet weather equipment on their car here out in Sonoma.
Well, it's been laying there a while.
It has.
Yeah.
But I think in NASCAR, what they may have done is stop cars at the end of pit road, let everybody finish their lap, not thinking anybody's in danger. And you don't want to hit that thing, but if a crew chief, I would lose my mind if they threw the yellow for that. And I was on my hot lap on my tires.
What's up, Danielle?
Adam, we're hearing Brad Keselowski's plan is to wait as long as he can stand it and then run 2 laps. William Byron saying we're going to go out with about 4.5 minutes left. Stevie, can you explain the waiting game here? What is the advantage to going out late?
The track just continues to pick up speed. It sounds crazy. You wouldn't think it would matter as we just sit here. The ambient temperature barely changes. It's a beautiful day, but there's this crazy phenomenon. The more cars run on it, the cleaner it gets, the faster it gets. The concern or the risk is what happens if somebody goes off track in front of you. You have traffic, you have gravel, someone gets into the tires where NASCAR has to throw an immediate yellow. That could be it. If the timing works out right. We saw way back at Road America years ago where half the field didn't even get a lap because there was a couple yellows at the wrong time. So there is a risk to it, but a reward if you get it and you get it timed correctly.
Shannon?
Hey, Adam, to follow up on Ty Dillon and his battle with Denny Hamlin in this in-season challenge, you are right. Ty Dillon has a lot of confidence. He told me earlier this week, he said 90% of the week's the 11 car. He's not concerned with Ty Dillon. He's a Hall of Fame driver, but he told me, I know that I can compete with him. A lot of that confidence, he said, comes from the San Diego run. He said Denny Hamlin was one of the cars that he passed in stage 1. He said when that 11 does things right, it is hard to pass him. It is hard to race him. But if he makes one mistake, I'm going to capitalize and I will not give it back. He said all it takes is one position.
House money, why not?
A couple of cars on the racetrack right now putting laps down that I'm pretty excited about. This car right here, the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen, coming to begin his lap. Also Cole Custer, who had good speed is in front of Shane, making his lap in the 41 Chevrolet. It sounds like Shane's just going to take it easy on this first lap, get some heat in the tires. Not going to really run too hard, not worried about putting a great lap down, just trying to get the tires worked in and thinking that might give him an advantage when he starts the second lap. The tires might be a little bit better for him when he starts asking them to do certain things. Here's the 41. Now Cole Custer is on a different approach. He's going hard on the first lap. Looks like he missed the apex a little bit on both 3 and A and B and up over the hill. Cost him a little bit of time. He was trending really, really well to Christopher Bell. A little lock up on the right front. Not too big a deal. Getting everything he can.
Got to get off turn 7.
Doing a great job here.
Yeah, really good lap. Just flirting with the greens. Comes down through the S's. Everybody chasing Christopher Bell.
Solid lap for Cole Custer right there.
P2 for the 41, 1:15.92.
SVG now coming down the hill. He's going to start putting the effort in and begin his qualifying run.
I remind you of this, Shane Van Gisbergen is undefeated when it comes to qualifying at Sonoma. 3 races in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, 3 poles. He'll lead him to the green later today and won the pole for the Cup race here a year ago and flashing a lot of green here through turn 11.
Across the hill, you see just out of sight a couple slower cars. There they are on the left side of your screen. I don't know if he's going to catch them going down the S's or not. SVG tracking way ahead of Bell at the moment.
Money in the bank, off of 7, down through the S's. 7/10 in his pocket and gaining on it.
Gaining time in spots that you didn't really think there was time to gain, where the 20 looks so good. Yeah, that'll work.
Surprise, surprise. Shane Van Gisbergen, P1 in qualifying, 1:14.91.
4/10 off of last year's pole speed. We'll have to see if that's going to hold up. That type of lap time will hold up.
Byron and Bowman, we saw this last week at San Diego. The Hendrick cars go out nose to tail. I talked to Chad Knaus about it. He said it totally backfired because we had them all lined up and one driver made a mistake and we all missed the chicane because of it. So then they didn't have fresh tires and it was just a complete mess up. But they're sticking with the theory here. The tires are lasting a little bit longer, and I don't hate this. Dale, would you prefer to be the kind of the guy being chased, or do you think it's better for your rhythm chasing someone?
I think it's easier to have a rabbit in front of you, right, to gauge off of braking zones. But you need to trust that person. You need to trust that. I mean, we see that all the time. Drivers will try to follow SVG out in practice, or you might, if you were racing against Mark Martin back in the day, you want to follow him out for a lap at Charlotte. Just to get the lift points, braking zones, all those things. See what they're doing and try to match it.
Pretty good laps here, 3rd and 5th for Byron and Bowman.
And don't throw away Josh Berry's 6 quick right there. That's a great lap for the driver, the 21. Bell's back on the track as well. Byron continues. You see him right there tracking only a 10th off. So William Byron thinks there's more out there. This is the advantage of SVG already putting that target out there, because you don't know what you thought was a great lap until SVG's kind of giving you that goal.
Todd Gilliland jumps into the top 10, 7th on the board. Watching Bell down there flashing green. Same for that? Byron was now into the red.
A lot of cars out there going faster. Eric Jones bumps up to 10th.
When SVG ran a slow lap to cool his stuff, so he's on a flyer again. So SVG's trying to improve his own
the 20
time.
Off the racetrack. Off into turn 3.
We're fine. 30 in the track.
He was just trying to get a little bit too much down into turn 3. And look at here. Zilich, 88 on the racetrack in the green.
Curious to see what he can do. Chasing his teammate.
He's got a ways to go through his lap. He's about halfway through right here, but looks like a much, much better lap than what he's got on the board right now.
Yeah, currently 13th, so he's looking for big improvements. Even if it's not pole speed, somewhere up in the top 2 or 3 would make his day much easier to start tomorrow.
Probably shoot a little confidence his way too, right? I mean, you don't want to do anything to compromise yourself. When you think about where they've been, Ware's off track in a 51.
Now you see if the yellow comes out, that would end these laps. NASCAR's going to try to hold it, handle this with a local caution. Remember, they have those options. They just throw a waving blue flag, which doesn't affect anybody's time, just lets you as a driver know there's an issue up ahead.
Zilich lost a lot of time.
He did, Dale.
Over the last couple of corners. Really surprised by that. He was only a 10th off coming into the final turn or two of that lap to the all-start finish line and lost 3 or 4 tenths.
SVG trending green on his own lap. Zilich as well trying to make one more lap. Time's expired. Oh boy, what just happened?
Man.
All right.
So that's a part of the racetrack where we've seen the 20 get off, the 51 spun over there as well.
We'll confirm with NASCAR. We see the timing for Zilich. The 88's green, he did start this lap, so this lap will count. To your point, Dale, he lost a chunk here in the S's last time. Seems to be doing it again.
Yeah.
Currently 5th.
Did it again. So that's, I mean, the car looks normal, but for some reason through those 3 corners, he's 3 tenths slower.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he's matches relatively well the entire rest of the racetrack, and the S's are some of the most challenging corners on this racetrack because you have to have the car change directions really well to be able to get through there quickly. If you're waiting on the car to go back the other direction.
The clock hit 0, and I felt like business picked up from a highlight perspective. SVG going out for a little insurance run, already P1. That's the second flying 360 we've seen today.
He stands in the throttle so he doesn't slide off the racetrack and does a good job. This is a 20 of Christopher Bell down the hill. Just gets loose on the entrance to turn 3.
These are odd places. And I'm not saying this is an easy corner, but for the last 20 years of coming out here where you see cars lose grip, I don't remember this kind of climbing turn 1 or down into 3. This rear grip is definitely being taxed.
Group 1 qualifying complete. And when Group 2 hits the track, everyone will be chasing Shane Van Gisbergen, who puts down a lap.
PRN's Garage Pass.
You're listening to the Performance Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Back here at Sonoma Raceway alongside Nick Yeoman, my name is Brad Gilley, covering the actions in the turns here on this 1.99-mile road course. Pat Patterson, Doug Turnbull, and Michael Young. Wendy Venturini has things covered for us on pit road as Group 1 qualifying is over. Shane Van Gisbergen, the fastest overall in that 20-minute session, the fastest lap of the day, 1 minute 14 seconds, .914. Group number 2 will go out. The combined speeds will all get set in order. Shane Van Gisbergen has not won the pole for this race yet, Nick.
Let's go downstairs to our Napa Auto Parts pit reporter, Wendy Venturini.
Good. Austin Hill down here just debriefing with his team. A great qualifying effort by you. How do you feel about that lap, and where else do you want some speed out of your race car?
Well, you know, during practice, I'm just trying to get used to the car. Going back and forth between the 2 series, it's always tough. So I knew that we had a lot more potential in our car after practice. You know, where we stacked up didn't really, and it wasn't indicative of where our zone Chevrolet was. And going into qualifying, I know over these last several times that I've ran these cars that you just got to push extremely hard and be right on the limit. And thought I did a really good lap. If anything, I gave up in like 3 different corners that I could have been better in. But overall, solid effort on everybody on this 33 Chevrolet. Everybody at RCR, ECR, can't thank everyone enough. And yeah, looking back on it, I'm just going to have to look back at some SMT, see where I could have been a little bit better. But we were close, and that's all you can ask for when you come to the Cup level like this. As long as you're close to being around, like, you know, guys like Shane and all, puts you in some good company. So feel good about it.
When you say, to describe to the folks listening at home, when you jump between the O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series, how would you describe that for the fan at home?
In the top 10 and then can go to work because we have a really fast car. Byron said the grip was good both laps, but I locked him up at one point. Need to do a little better job, sorry. And Rudy said all good. We have a really good car. I'm hearing a lot of optimism, Adam, out of this 24 group.
Couple of wins on the road for William Byron in his career. He's talking down there to Jeff Gordon. I think if I wanted knowledge on this place, that might be a good one to go to. 5 wins for Gordon here, the most all time.
Yeah, he's the king of understanding just how much this place can jump out and grab you. These are some slippery corners around here. He did a great job of keeping it on the track and better than everyone else. And here are the standings.
Yeah, you look at the standings right there. Denny obviously closing the gap on Tyler Reddick. Ryan Blaney just trying to hang on to third going into the chase. And then you got a nice little battle between Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott, Larson, and all those guys trying to get into that top 6 or top 5 to really increase their opportunities to try to win the championship.
Yeah, and on the right side, you know, making the chase is a big deal, both for partners and for just building a race team. You want to be considered in that conversation of a chase team. So you have Cindric, Priest, SVG, Logano, if you can believe it, Brad K, Allmendinger. That battle's going to continue all summer.
I look at 14th and 19th, separated just, you know, roughly 20 points. It's just remarkable how tight it is. Shannon?
Yeah, down here with Connor Zilic, just debriefing with Ross Chastain. 5th place right now. Did you get everything out of the car that you wanted to get out of it?
Definitely not. No, I was on a really good lap until the last section, the S's. Hit a curb wrong and cost myself a good lap. So definitely frustrated with myself. I feel like I never qualify good at these races that I should be qualifying better at. Definitely a little frustrated, but I feel like our WeatherTech Chevrolet is fast, and we'll have some speed tomorrow. So hopefully too many guys in Group 2 don't go too fast, and we can have a decent starting spot.
First Cup start here at Sonoma, but of course we know that you drank that apple juice in Victory Lane 1 year ago in the O'Reilly Series. Are there any similarities, things that can help you out on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, track time is track time. I've been able to race here quite a few times, even before racing in NASCAR. So, I've always enjoyed coming here. It's a very beautiful part of the country. So, hopefully we can be drinking some more apple juice this weekend.
Thank you, Connor. Adam?
When you have teenagers that can win at this place, you have to have the apple juice on standby.
Yeah. Well, he would love nothing more than to pull off a win after it's been a tough year so far. And these road courses are where he has kind of burst onto the scene as, you know, a very talented road course racer. Although he's run a lot of oval stuff, short track racing and so forth, and he's very talented across the board. I think the road courses is where he wants to shine, and I don't think he expected Shane Van Gisbergen to be coming into the sport around the same time, right? And racing for the same team. I think they'll elevate each other, and this young man might not realize it, but he's learning a ton racing side by side with Shane and going through this difficult year in his rookie year.
You know, we talk about the road course races back-to-back, racing at San Diego last week, Sonoma this weekend. This is the final road course race of the year. But if you look at the 5 races we have on TNT between now and late July, these 5 venues have absolutely nothing in common.
Yeah, road course here in Sonoma, then we go back to Chicagoland, a very bumpy, worn-out 1.5 miles. Elko Speedway, it says 1.5 miles, but it is a super speedway. It drafts like one, a lot of drafting around that place. And then back to the short track, North Wilkesboro, 5/8 mile with kind of an uphill and a downhill in the straightaways, and then to the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway to cap it all off. Someone will walk away $1 million richer.
Everybody's excited that we're going back to Chicagoland. It put on some incredible races. Multi-groove racetrack, to your point, Steve, very worn out. It's going to be tough on tires. we're going to see cars moving all over the racetrack there. And SVG said he's looking forward to Atlanta. He says he really enjoys the style of racing we do there. It's probably the hottest ticket on the circuit right now because of the racing and how exciting that can be. And obviously, Wilkesboro getting that points race. It's comeback. It's rebirth. Should be documented and studied. It's pretty incredible what the track is even back on the schedule, what it's going to become going forward.
It takes multiple laps for me to kind of imagine what I'm seeing out the window. Just because when you go to 1.5 miles, you expect this big acceleration, and then you get to the corner and you lift off the gas and slow down, and it's just this constant speed. It doesn't look real for the first few laps.
Second group starting to pull out on the racetrack to go ahead and get their tires worked in. Some, as we saw in the first group, may go right off onto the racetrack and start pushing hard and putting effort into that first lap. SVG, a few other cars ran about 1.5 laps at half speed before they actually went after it.
You know, we gave love to 2311 earlier during practice in the 1-2 finish with Corey Heim and Bubba Wallace at San Diego. I also want to celebrate Riley Herbst, who matched his career best, was top 10 last week and just missed out on a top 5, was running up there and in position late in the race.
Bubba's dropping the hammer. Going through turn 10. Hammer in the braking zone right there down into 11. A little bit of a lockup on the inside. Right front tire. But Denny, on the other hand, is about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds off. He's decided to maybe take it easy this lap and see if he can't prep these tires a little bit for the following lap on the racetrack.
Turn 4 to turn 7 for Bubba Wallace.
Big chunk of that inside curb looked like it upset the car a little bit. Clean of the curb here. In the race, you'll use those curbs to try to help the car turn, but in qualifying, I think you kind of want to be a little bit clean on them.
Second place run last week got Bubba up to 11th in the chase standings. Good starting spot this weekend. Could put him in position for a little more. He's 9th on his first lap of the afternoon in qualifying. Look out.
No. Contact. He just pushed a little bit too hard, got wide off a 10, dropped the left rear tire off, and overcorrected into the outside wall. Man.
We're done.
Just pushing, just starting that second lap, trying to improve on the lap he just ran. So you go into the corner a little bit harder, try a little bit more. And you don't have any room for mistakes, as you see, just dropped the left rear tire off and away the car goes.
That's heavy damage. Years ago, I would have just guaranteed that to be a backup car. We saw them fix a car very similar to this at Pocono a few weeks ago, so we'll wait and see what the team does.
I just think about the give and take for them, right? I mean, you do what they did last week and you feel like it's coming together, and then you have a moment like this that once again places you behind the 8 ball.
Thought he was going to get lucky and spin it kind of down the racetrack, but that wall kind of angles back out. This would be a good view. I thought he was going to miss it right there by the robotic camera. Man, that's a pretty hard shot.
That's right on board. Through 10. I don't know anybody that rides a roller coaster of emotions in this sport more than Bubba Wallace. Last week, coming into San Diego thinking, man, I'm not great at these road courses, probably considering this might be a frustrating weekend. He goes out, has an incredible day, and runs second. Comes into Sonoma, hoping to maybe build off of that momentum and has this little misstep here.
Danielle?
John Hunter Nemechek watching Bubba Wallace go for a ride there. Your lap much better. You're 6th on the board right now. How pleased are you with your 42 Toyota?
I feel pretty good. These guys have brought a fast Pi Barker Toyota Camry XSE this weekend, and we've been working really hard on the road course front. I feel like last year that was kind of our Achilles heel and didn't run very well. We had one breakout finish, I guess, but overall just wasn't very consistent for us and didn't have a lot of grip or potential in our race cars. So something that we've went to work on. I feel way better here at Sonoma this year than I have in years past. I think last year we were about 2 seconds off SVG, so only 0.6 off isn't bad right now, but it's been a lot of work, a lot of simulator time, a lot of studying film, things of that sort. And over the last month and a half, both the 42 and the 43 have had a lot of potential in their race cars and have been pretty quick. So I feel good about our race trim balance. Going to work on a couple of things overnight, some adjustments I feel like I need from the race car and myself to be better for tomorrow, but hopefully that time holds up. I'm not sure where that'll put us just based off of Group A. Compared to Group B in practice, Group B was pretty much all faster than Group A except for a couple cars. So hopefully we wind up in the top 10, top 15 and have a good shot to go collect some stage points and have a really solid result tomorrow.
Hard to ignore Legacy Motor Club and the momentum that you and Eric Jones have right now. A lot of improved speed, a lot of good performance. John Hunter, how do you answer the question? People are wondering, how are you doing it? What's going on at Legacy?
It's just been a process, and it's trusting in the process, right? For me, coming here in 2024, we knew it was going to take time to build to where we want to get, and that's to be able to contend for race wins and championships eventually. And it all starts with people, all the great men and women back at Legacy Motor Club here. We made some more new hires over the off season and at the start of this year that I think have definitely shown up the last month and a half or so. I feel like when you get a new person in and you start putting new processes, new procedures in place, it definitely takes time for those to show up on the racetrack. But I feel like we're kind of getting there now. I feel like the validation of us having speed and potential now at a lot of these racetracks that we're going to shows that we're working in the right areas to find the potential and grip and speed in our race cars. So I'm excited for the future with Legacy Motor Club. I'm excited to go race tomorrow, but it's fun showing up knowing that you have potential and grip in your race car to be able to go fast.
Look at the smile on John Hunter's face. That's what happens when you're P6 on the board right now. Thanks, John Hunter.
I just hope I get invited to the party when there's a win, because you think about the ownership group, right? I mean, you got Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
When you're P6 on the board.
To go race tomorrow, but
and, Darius Rucker's a part of the group, so you got the music covered, Guy Fieri. I mean, the food's going to be great. This is going to be some celebration.
Putting their program together, and when Jimmy went over there to become part owner of this operation, he went right to work. Made a few key hires and brought in some people that he knew and trusted, and wasn't quite sure what type of owner Jimmy Johnson would be. But here he is, present at the racetrack, involved, out there, trying to create opportunity and bring in investors and get people excited about his program.
See the clock on the upper left counting down. The track is back to green flag conditions. 23 back in the garage now. Looks like Denny Hamlin in the 11 back to the slow roll he was on first time.
How about this paint scheme? You could email Denny. You guys have anything you want to, what would the subject line be here if you were going to send an email to driver 11?
I like the decal on the back. It says, if you got a problem with my driving, email at this address. We'll see what the fans come up with. I'm sure they're going to have some creative questions for Denny. And I'm not, won't be surprised when Denny answers them.
That's right.
There it is. Denny's quite vocal on social media when he wants to be. Kind of picks and chooses when he wants to step into the conversation, and always entertaining. Oh, a little bit of a lockup there. Missed the corner just slightly. But gains a little bit of that back down his straightaway. A pretty solid lap going here for Denny.
Absolutely. He's 2/10 off coming through 11. Gained it back, coming to 1, up the hill to 2.
Well, he downplays his road course experience because it hasn't been as good as he had hoped as of recent races, but he has sat on a pole out here. He knows how to be fast around Sonoma.
Well, 2016 was his year on the road. Won at Watkins Glen, his only road course victory at the Cup level, and was second right here in Sonoma, California. So really good 10 years ago. And now coming back to that alternate start-finish line to see where he slots in with his qualifying lap. 6th.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with that.
15:48. Teammate Christopher Bell ran a 15:36 as Chris Buescher goes out.
We saw in the first group that a lot of people went out a second time, and we had a ton of cars go quicker. I'll be surprised, Steve, if we see that same process in this round.
And with over 12 minutes remaining, dare I say, I'm not sure that 1:14.9 from SVG is going to be enough. There are a lot of fast cars left. Track's going to continue to improve. Oh, Buescher a little high. You see it tracked to the green because he was rolling way too fast through the middle of the corner.
That was a tease, wasn't it?
It was.
Gaining back a little here.
Yeah, but he gave up so much over there. He's going to be so disappointed with that little misstep.
You see there's an opportunity. Logano in the green just from the hairpin turn 11. So if someone can put the perfect track lap together, all the sections.
That's the toughest thing as a driver when you make that mistake early in the lap and you got to grit your teeth for the next minute and a half or so to finish the lap that you know is not going to be all that great. You're always going to, no matter what the end result, you're going to know it could have been a whole lot better.
Oh, hopefully this traffic gets out of Logano's way. He's on a really good lap, only a 10th off.
Oh, they did a good job. Man, he's running well.
Boy, the level of concentration to manage your lap, hit your marks, maneuver around the slower vehicles.
Second for Logano.
1:15.13 for the 22. Teammate Austin Cindric down there in the 10th position. Riding on board here with Suarez. Won here 2022. And look at the board, you know, Chase Elliott, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, all still part of the equation in Group 2 as we head toward the midway point. Reference some of the good drivers still to come. Did not pop Chase Briscoe, who, as you see in the tracker, is out there in the 19. So good here a season ago. Reddick also a part of the equation here in Group 2. There's the 19.
Pretty solid right here. You got Briscoe headed up through 3 over to 4. Reddick now crossing through turn 1 and 2. So both these guys on the screen here. This is on board Reddick at the bottom of the screen.
I really like Briscoe's approach, top of the screen. He's definitely giving some up on corner entry, but making it work on exit. As soon as I say it, it's the opposite at turn 4.
Oh, broadcaster jinx.
Yeah, got him.
Thank you very much, Steve Letarte.
All the different things to do in Napa. I asked Briscoe what his afternoon plans were. He said after O'Reilly he was going fishing, so he's found a lake somewhere here.
There you go. Suarez went to 10th. Briscoe comes back, goes 7th on the board.
54 Gibbs on a pretty solid lap. He's a really good road course racer and has ran good here in Sonoma. Only a 10th off, headed down into turn 4. little bit of a lock up there, getting everything he can on braking. Headed to 7.
Boy, a little green.
Yeah, a little shallow entry there. It's going to cost him on the exit. Gives a little bit of it back, but SVG got through these S's so well. Can Gibbs match it? Man.
Good lap for Ty Gibbs. Second, 15:04 compared to a 14:91 for Van Gisbergen.
Reddick on a flyer. He was tracking in the green a little bit. Now that we know, you better have a little to lose turning down those S's. Man, SVG really got through the second half of the S's.
Turn 4 to turn 7 for Reddick.
Good lap, Ty.
Hocevar in the green as well, you see on the left. Remember, he was second a week ago.
That was late, too. Remember, he went out and jumped up there.
He's coming to the finish of the lap here. He's got a little to give back if he has to.
We got a pole here in Truck Series competition. 77 is strong. Reddick goes third. Here is Hocevar.
Oh, he's done it.
He can do that.
To the top. 1:14.85 for Carson Hocevar.
I don't know how he does it.
With flair? That's how he does it, with a lot of flair.
How many times in his life do you think he said, hey, watch this?
Well, he's 16th in practice with a 76.28. I mean, we just didn't see him as a threat. But he sits on the outside of front row last week at San Diego. Comes here today and gets the best of SVG.
I don't know if it's the most dramatic lap he's ever put on the board here. When you think about when he won that truck pole, he had busted his foot the weekend before at St. Louis, came here and put it on the pole.
McDowell's on a great lap here.
He is.
Spire showing up. 77 on the top, 71 on a great lap.
They put all three of their cars top 10 in qualifying last week in San Diego. McDowell, a runner-up earlier this year at Watkins Glen to SVG. He's won on the road at Indianapolis.
Just gave some back at 7 and didn't get the payment on the exit, although he's really getting down the S's.
Here's McDowell. Boy, just flashing back and forth. It's going to be close. Second on the board for Michael McDowell. Missed it by a couple of hundredths to his teammate Carson Hocevar.
I don't think McDowell's done.
Tracker says he's definitely not done, right, Dale?
Yeah, he's still trying to put another lap together. Just have to wonder whether the tires start to nose over and lose a little bit of pace and grip. But right now, 2/10 up. I think Hocevar was pretty good through the S's, but there's a little bit there. Starting to see it though. The car's starting to just give up a little bit of grip. Pushed a little bit wide right there. Starting to give up a little time here and there. Man, McDowell, I think, had the outright speed. He's going to want a few corners back from the lap before.
Onboard Larson on the bottom of your screen, basically matching the lap of the 77. I agree, Dale. McDowell's going to think of just a couple corners that had the difference.
Larson headed to the S's.
Great acceleration.
Larson, great qualifier here. Spent a lot of time on the front row.
Oh my gosh, so close.
Second.
They're all over the top of each other.
Look at that, a 14.85 to a 14.87. Larson gets McDowell by 7 thousandths of a second for the second position in qualifying. Heading toward 4 minutes to go, Group 2. Larson staying in it.
Wow, and a big 2/10 in just this bottom section of the track.
You're ahead of that one right now. Put it together.
Oh, and he's told, you're ahead.
Everybody, though, I think even seen McDowell was 2/10 up on Hocevar in the first couple of corners. But they all seem to have a hard time matching the backside of the lap. You see it.
This is where he was off from Hocevar last time, almost a 10.5 in this section. But then as he turned the corner and started to come down the S's, he found some pace back in the 5 car. See if he can do it again. He's going to need it.
Not going to be able to do it, Steve.
Nope, I agree with you. It's like just a little too much time on the tires.
Chastain's on a solid lap here. AJ Allmendinger sitting right on top of the pole speed as well, headed down into turn 4. He's 36th on the board. He's going to need to lay down some type of a lap here. Oh, man, he's close. Unhappy with his car in practice. They made some gains on that 16 for Allmendinger, and here's Chastain.
Now remember, he'll be compared to Hocevar down the S's. We knew SVG was good. I thought Hocevar also got down the S's really well.
Chastain's right there.
I just absolutely love the hustle from turn 7 through the S's and down to that alt-start finish line. Driver 1 looks great. 4th on the board for Chastain.
Dale, you said it, though. We're talking 5 100ths of a second covers the top 5 on a 2-mile, 12-turn road course.
That's incredible considering there's almost a second from 1st to 20th.
Well, you look at that top 10. There's a lot of really good stories there and a lot of big-time threats when we go green here tomorrow on TNT.
Those are those little slides that cost you, that 19, that little wiggle. I don't know if it hurts time as much as just heats up those rear tires. We'll see if it does damage here in the second half of the lap.
Great exit. Headed to the S's for Briscoe. He's there.
Briscoe so good here a season ago.
Oh, is he going to get some of it back?
I mean, throwing it left.
Oh, man. He's going to want that last corner back. He was right there.
Ends up 6th.
What a performance.
Still a minute and a half to go. We still have many laps ahead of us.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier, Steve. You just have to get the lap started before time expires. You don't have to finish it. So plenty of work left to be done.
Briscoe is about a 10th up right here and just too much curve in the final S. Logano's on a pretty decent lap there.
A busy track, over 10 cars on the racetrack.
Logano's coming down through the S's to complete his lap. Be a couple tenths off the pole.
Logano currently 10th.
We have time for another.
Moves up to 9th with that lap. Does Logano. Some green for Ty Gibbs, who's currently 8th.
Let's see how he does across here into 7.
Said some green, a lot of green. Insurance through the S's.
This has got potential here.
And this kid is really, really good on the road.
Oh, man.
There it is. 54 to the top. Ty Gibbs leads 1482.
His 4th lap.
That's P1 right now.
Oh, boy. Let's get to the garage.
It's really mean that you finish a great lap and then you have to navigate turn 10, riding with Tyler Reddick. Time has expired. The cars you see can come back.
So, you know, Gibbs goes out there and does this on lap 4. Several other cars, almost everyone on the racetrack ran 2 to 4 laps, except for Carson Hocevar. Will they wonder, Steve?
Right.
Man, should we have maybe went out a little earlier, had an opportunity to go make that second run? Everybody seemed to go quicker. Was there that opportunity for Hocevar to make the pole qualifying run on his second run on his tires?
Yeah, because reading on the radio, he didn't love his lap. He said it was kind of messy, so that's going to make that question loom even larger.
I think about the championship standings, too. Look at Denny Hamlin as we ride with Tyler Reddick. Hamlin qualifies 9th. Reddick goes 11th as you think about the climb that has been made by Denny Hamlin in recent weeks. But it's going to be Hamlin's teammate who leads us to the green here tomorrow. Ty Gibbs, late run in qualifying, puts it on the top. It'll be his 3rd career pole and his 1st on a road course. Got his first career victory earlier in the campaign at Bristol. And I just go back to his days in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series when he was such a good road racer. Okay, you want youth? We've got it for you. Front row tomorrow. Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar. I'd like to have had 100 on that front row in Vegas.
I'd also like to have had 100 on SVG not making the top 5 in qualifying. That's a big surprise.
In a place where he had never not won the pole, either O'Reilly or Cup. Let's hear from driver 77. Front row start for Hocevar, Danielle.
Oh, there was a roar from the crowd, too, when he stuck at top of the board. But I was watching Carson watch Ty Gibbs' lap, who ultimately is P1 tomorrow. Carson, what was the difference between your lap and the 54s?
I mean, I didn't feel like my lap was very good. And I was getting ready to run another. And I got through 10, and they said P1. And I was like, well, shit, I don't have to do another. I'm pulling right in. So I was super happy about that, like the lap time, but I didn't think it was amazing. So I'm glad it stuck well there. Yeah, I was just really happy with the lap. First race for Classic Collision here. And yeah, we wanted to give them a good showing. And I was texting Twan, and I was like, man, I don't know if you got the best one to pick the first one. Be in Sonoma probably months ago, and you know, at least be on the front row here is pretty cool, and go back to back here, you know, seconds. Hopefully that's a good trend here. You know, San Diego, we obviously had a shot, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But super happy with, you know, everybody here at Spire. The 71 team and the 7 team really helped the 77 team. My guys are really, really smart, but this is a full team effort here to get me comfortable. I don't give any feedback. I don't even think I said anything after practice. I was just like, you just let me know. You just put in whatever you think, and I'll just drive it. So,
very impressive to see what this team has put together for Carson Hocevar tomorrow. He'll start second, Marty.
Boy, Danielle, what a lap for Ty Gibbs. He puts it on the pole here at Sonoma. Congratulations all around. I love it because you told your crew chief, Tyler Allen, immediately after that first run, I need to go again because there's more out there. Where did you know you had more in the 54 car?
Yeah, you know, the reruns are kind of just super weird here. Sometimes you can go a lot faster, sometimes you don't. So I feel like I just had some more speed out there. Marseille, Toyota Camry is really fast this weekend, and we're really excited to race it tomorrow. Thank you to Monster Energy and Oakley and everybody that helps me out.
Third time in his career, Adam, that Ty Gibbs will lead the field to the green flag.
Reigning champ when it comes to the in-season challenge, trying to win $1 million. He'll start on the pole tomorrow. Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar out front.
Yeah, a couple of surprises there. Shane Van Gisbergen just, you know, didn't really get to go out there and put down the lap he wanted to, be coming from row 3. AJ Allmendinger dug deep, be able to put that car up in row 4. Denny Hamlin, solid run there as well.
Yeah, here on the next page, Tyler Reddick in row 6, always fast, turning both directions. William Byron was in that first group, but ran 15 laps straight. Loves his car. We'll see if it'll pay off. And then how about Chase Elliott? King of the roads for so long, still looking to get that win out here. Get Allen as crew chief his first win at Sonoma. It's going to be also exciting. The young man, Connor Zilich, as well.
Suarez, a little bit of a surprise back here in row 11 as well with Austin Cindric. Some good road course racers back here. Bubba Wallace with the accident, have to work on that race car. If not, go to a backup back here in row 13. They'll start rear of the field tomorrow.
Yeah, and then if you're on these next pages, you're asking yourself, what can I do? What can I do differently than someone else? Is there a strategy? Is there a fuel conservation, tire savings? How can I be? If I'm the crew chief for Eric Jones or Ricky Stenhouse, how can I help my driver get him some track position?
And we've said it so many times, including last week at San Diego. When you race in this format, never give up. It's never over. Just stay in the game. Looking forward to the coverage tomorrow. It's the Toyota Save Mart 350 on TNT. NASCAR Nation, presented by Nereus with Marty Smith and the crew, comes your way at 2:30 Eastern Time. With Shane